What's good, YouTube? Slendy Revolution X here. Long time no see, guys. Today what I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be a fairly long video. I'm basically going to be talking about YCS Chicago, the Forbidden Limited list, things along those lines. Those are going to pretty much take up most of my time. And first off, let me just start by saying, I think this is the first ban list that I can honestly say did nothing. You look at the problem decks that are winning. We have Mermail, Fire Fist, Bujins, Dragon Rulers, things like that. The only thing out of all of those that got hit is Fire Fist. And it's not even like a crippling flaw. They just brought Wolfbark to 1. It's not like they can't use it. So, before I get too much into it, let's go over. Morphing Jars were banned. I think, honestly, they were just banned because it's like a gimmicky card. They're trying to get to a more consistent style of play, banning those cards that, you know, have like really odd effects or rendering them useless. Like the Final Countdown deck pretty much has been rendered useless. Just very gimmicky cards like that have been banned. So I think they're just trying to shore up the game and make it more about playing rather than relying on things like that. So no more Empty Jar. We're not going to see any of that. So Wolfbark to 1. Biscun to 1, but that doesn't even hurt Mermails due to the fact that they can it'll just give other Mermail cards the chance to shine. And so it's not like it's gone, it's still at 1. Rekindling, yes, that card needed to be hit because having a Monster Reborn that could bring back like 5 monsters. I mean, if you guys have ever played against a Fire Fist deck that used it, if you guys ever played against like Lavals that used it, it's really annoying because you're like, hey, okay, you play one Eye Solomon and then they drop another one and you lose right then and there. You're like, oh, I already gave them 2,000 life points, so they don't even have to work for it. So I understand that, but I don't think that card is a crazy meta card that, you know, we see as mainstream as a few others. Infernity Barrier. This card is ridiculous. Yes. Do I think it really needed to go to 1? Do you see how many Infernity? Granted, Infernities is very annoying. It's an annoying deck to play against, and like the combos with it, the idea of the deck, you can search this card. It's an incredibly searchable card that is really, really good. So I can understand the want to limit it, but it's a deck-specific card. You're not going to see it splashed into anything like Rekindling. You're not going to see, you know, some random decks, and you're just going to run into a random Infernity Barrier. It's pretty much just that. So, and I think them doing this pretty much renders Infernities unplayable because that's one of their main cards that they go to. So Necrophase at 2, don't think it's going to do anything. Heretic Seal of Convocation, I don't understand how they haven't gotten this yet. Like, you've already put it at 2, and it didn't change the deck at all. So then you put it back at 3, and I guess they realized it was too good, so they put it back to 2. If you want to make any changes, put it to 1. It's already been at 2, and we've seen what it's done there, and that is squat. So put it at 1 if you're going to change it. I mean, I'm pretty much a firm believer in that any kind of recruiter card should essentially be at 1. And then Unlimited Magical Stone and Primal Seed. Yeah, there's some fun little tricks with Primal Seed, but it's not going to be played. And Magical Stone isn't going to be played now that Morphing Jar is banned, unless you're some D-Hero player or something like that. So that's the list. So we're not seeing any huge changes. I would have liked to seen Bujins get hit. Like, come on. This deck is just getting support. Like, it's getting the same amount of support that Noble Knights is, but it's like good. Like, really good. And it's only going to get better. So to not see anything happen to them at all. I mean, they still literally have every card. If you're going to, I mean, it would have been nice to see Yamato go to 2, because that deck essentially relies on Yamato right now. And if it went to 2, we might see some different, you know, ways of playing it come out. I mean, it's just, there's so much different stuff that I think that deck is capable of. But there's no reason to run it any different way when Yamato's at 3 and you just protect him on the field and it just gets insane. So, would have liked to seen that happen. You know, it's just, Mermails, they can swarm the field really fast, and I don't think putting Gun to 1 is going to change anything with that. I mean, you still have all of your Atlanteans that you could splash in there. There's still a lot of stuff that can go on with that deck. Fire Fist, sure you lost Rekindling, sure Wolf barked at 1, but I don't think that really affects the deck in any way, shape, or form. It still has really good Rooster, Spirit plays. I mean, we're looking at 3 axes, 3.5 axes, 4 axes, stuff like that. It's still very relevant. That doesn't really change much at all because they still have the ability of Wolf Bark, and a lot of people were running 2 some people were running 2 regardless just because there was no reason to run it anymore. I mean, it's better late game, so there was no reason to start off with 3. So I think we're going to still see that deck do well. And this is what I've generally felt about the ban list, is that it is supposed to change the meta of the game. Granted, we could see things with the new packs and Gold Series and everything coming out, but the general consensus is you give other decks opportunities to win with the ban list. It's how we saw with Dragon Rulers the second time. I mean, they tried to hit it the first time, didn't do anything. Then they hit it the second time. Then it's not nearly as formidable as it was. I mean, they did it with plants. They did it with... It's just been a general trend throughout time that it makes other decks more playable and allows them to kind of take their spot where they want in the limelight. And especially we have new archetypes coming out. We have new cards for new archetypes coming out. We have new cards for old archetypes coming out. So it would be nice to see them mix in rather than your generic Boojins, Fire Fist, Mermail, Dragon Rulers, top. So that's all I'm going to say about the ban list right now. I'm not really happy with it. I was expecting something to come off. It would have been nice to see the wind-up Zenmaity come off, because I've been holding on to my wind-up stuff for that reason. I mean, look at the OCG. They banned Hunter and brought the Zenmaity off to make them more playable. At this point, I'll be honest, I kind of want to play in the OCG a little bit more than the TCG right now. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's move on to YCS Chicago. I think it was a pretty successful YCS. You saw a lot of cool things happen. If you guys read any of the feature matches, we had a couple Fire Kings top, which was awesome. But it's been... You can't really say anything like top 8 because it's draft play after top 16, so you win in the draft play, and so on. So we had some pretty cool, unique decks top that we haven't seen in a while. Like Fire Kings, they kind of come in every once in a while and then kind of back out. It was a good YCS as far as YCS goes. Now, as you guys know, I'm a very big advocate for the ARG series, which I think offers more coverage, better prize support. I think the players enjoy it more, so I don't like to talk about the YCS as much as I do the ARGs because I can get more in depth with it. They have the video streams, they have all of that stuff, and it sucks to not see that at the YCSs. But I mean, we saw Benedict Young top again with that Dark Creator Turbo Dark World thing. That he's been very successful with in the past, so it's nice to see Dark Worlds in there. It's cool to see stuff like that. And then we also see our normal +1 Fire Fist, top 8 Joe Bogley, who was topped I want to say quite a few times. He's a very good player, so it's nice to see that. Tom Mack won with Boojins. It's a pretty degenerate deck. I don't want to say that. It's a good deck, but I think going first with that deck is just insane. I mean, the setup that deck allows is absurd. So we saw a lot of cool plays. We saw a lot of good decks in there. It'll be interesting to see what the next format holds because this was the last YCS for this format. So we'll be seeing another one and see if people innovate somehow, if decks change. I could be completely wrong in saying that not the ban list didn't really change anything, or we could just see the same thing over and over again until Nationals and or July 13th, I think, is when the format changes again because they need to have it for Nationals. So we'll be seeing a lot of different things coming here, along with new packs coming out. So the new format, I think, offers a lot of innovation at some point. Like, I think with them changing very little, it's up to the players, us as the players, to become innovative and to create decks that are interesting and, keep people's interest in this game, because it's just like with the year of the Dragon Rulers. we lost a lot of players. There were a lot of people that were really contemplating quitting this game when you had Dragon Rulers constantly top. So if you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. I know I haven't put one up in a while, and I wanted to do a conglomerate of everything that's been weighing on my mind. If you guys have any comments, leave them in the comment section below. I love to hear from you guys. And as always, guys, remember to subscribe to join the revolution today. This is Slendy Revolution X signing out, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy.